My student, they always ask me, sir, when this pandemic gets over, we are very frustrated, we are very irritated. We don't have a chance to go outside, hang out outside. We don't have a chance to meet our friends. So when this pandemic gets over, this question is very common questions nowadays. And also, few people, they ask me, since you are working at the university for a long time, maybe you know, will there be the post-COVID or not? But people, they say there will be a post-COVID or there will not be post-COVID. So what is this? So this question also is coming up nowadays. And another question is, if there is another COVID, so when are we expecting another wave of COVID-19 or COVID-20 or COVID-21 or COVID-19 second version, second phase? Why? So these are the questions every day, almost every day I'm receiving from my students, my colleagues, my relatives, right? And also another question, will everything returns to normal after this pandemic? People are scared. They are at home, locked down since a long time. No, they are now thinking whether this can everything will be normal or not. So these type of questions. But unfortunately, I do not know. These are the questions, but I do not know. But what I know is everything will be different. Everything will be different. Our health system will be different. Our economy will be different. Our media will be different. Our education system will be different. Even our foreign affairs and foreign relation also will be different. So entire thing will be different. That much I know. But what will be tomorrow? So what will be the scenario tomorrow? I still do not. But I'm expecting this answer from young people, right? Maybe by the end of my presentation, you may say, oh, Manish sir, you don't know this, you don't know the answer of this question, but I know. I am expecting this answer from you. Okay, so different. And life before corona virus, we call as a BC, and life after coronavirus is AC, right? So AC and BC. But the life before coronavirus and the life after coronavirus or during the COVID-19 is not the same. Why it's not the same? Because we have different challenges. The challenges that we used to have before coronavirus and the challenges that we do have right now, the challenges that will be after COVID-19 will be entirely different. And we are expecting the certainty in an uncertain world. No one had thought this COVID-19 would come. Only 5 years back, Bill Gates had given a talk on the TED Talk that all the entire globe will be victimized by the biological virus. Only he had told, but we had no idea. So this is uncertainty, but we're expecting the certainty. And this COVID-19 has made the world from this connected to the interconnected, and now it is interdependent. Whole globe is one country now with a different system. So these are the reality. So that is why I have told, or I've been telling, and I will be telling, life will not be same. Look at it. You can see the picture, right? You can see on the left figure, it's very crowded. People are now enjoying, getting time. See the right side. Everything is locked. Everything is blocked. Everything is closed. But we have to survive. And the pandemic challenges is, look at here. Now, we're scared because of the technology, because of the emerging technology, because of the disruptive technologies. They will automate more and more our job. But we had never thought this pandemic also put some few stone on top of that. So everything will be changed because of the technology and because of this pandemic. This is one example, right? So we are very happy in 20th century, automation, everything is being automated, right? And we're very happy in 21st century because of artificial intelligence, because of the technology. Now the automation has got one prefix, intelligent automation. But now this pandemic has put one more prefix, zero contact intelligent automation systems during this COVID-19. And this was started from Beijing, from China. During the lockdown, during the coronavirus in Beijing, they used the robot to supply the e-business stuff and e-commerce stuff. So zero contact. People are not comfortable in doing the contact. So zero contact, no contact, social distancing. So this is another challenges. So these challenges was not before or during this before the coronavirus, but this is the new challenges. So let's start with all these challenges. And another question is, because why are we still this developed country? You may be thinking what this question is, right? So let's think, why are we still less developed country? My view is we still do not know what we need. We expect the foreign agency, we expect the WSI, we expect the World Bank to tell, hey, World Bank, tell me that what I do need it. We expect the ADB. We go to the Manila, Philippines and ask, oh, come back to Nepal and tell us what we do need it. We go for the Quaker, we go for the JICA and ask, but this is not the thing that will happen now. Okay? And why do not we still know what we need? So this question, I'll try to give the answer of these two questions during my presentations. So that's the reason why I have just put this question, why are we still less developed country? Okay, so all in the two eras, as I have said, before and after, you can see again the crowd in the left figure and this after, very silent, people are maintaining the social distances, people are putting the mask, and a little worried, okay? So this is the scenario. And everything will be changed, as I have said. Even if we have a vaccine, even this pandemic changes states from the crisis to the challenges. But these challenges will be at a different place and with the different challenges, right? And I must have to say, the experience that we had before the pandemic or before the coronavirus, it sets to zero. That will not work right now. If I say I have been teaching at Kathmandu University since 1995, that has become the history. We should not repeat the history. We should learn the lesson from the history, but history should not be repeated. Right? Now I have to think the way I used to teach in the 1995, 1996, or 1997. If I do the same thing, maybe these young people or students, they may not like my class. So that experience will not help me now. So I should create the new experience because everything is now set to zero. Even the economy, even the microeconomy, even the business scenario, even the health system. So everything has set to zero. And the world is more interdependent. I give an example of the US and China economic debate. So if you watch the CNN, ABS, BBC, you see most of the time either coronavirus news or the China and US economic debate. But the reality is they are interdependent to each other. If something goes wrong between these two countries, not only US, China also will be affected, not only China, US will be affected. Why? Because this coronavirus has made us more interdependent to each other. That is the reason why it is taking so much time to get the vaccine. Right? So this is also, I'll talk a little later. And we have the global shock because of the global problems. So I will tell you in my next slide 2 or 3 shocks. First, medical shocks. People are in the sick beds, they're at the hospital. So they are not producing the GDP for the country. So country, the authority, the leaders, the policymakers are very, very scared. Right? First shock. Second, economic impact and public and private. Schools are closed. Factories are closed. People are getting the half salary. People are getting the no salary. And we are not allowed to go anywhere. There's a restriction on that travel. We have never heard about the quarantines, but now we know quarantine, right? So this is another shock for our mental. And everything comes to our head. So now, but these shocks, these are global shocks, not only for Nepalese, not only for Indian, not only for Chinese. It is for all over the world. So now we have to overcome these shocks. So which areas are most affected during pandemic? Almost every areas. Business, economy, right? Everywhere. It's tourism, everywhere. But here I'll talk about only two, health and education. But I'll give more emphasis to the education because I do not know much about the health. But I know like health is also one of the most affected areas during this pandemic. So what is state of arts of education in COVID-19? Look at here. 191 countries, like schools are closed in more than 191 countries. 1.5 billion students are affected. They do not go to the class. 63 million primary and secondary teachers are now at their home, based upon the UNESCO report. In our country, 35,055 community schools are closed. 9 million students are now, they are now at home. 700,000 students in higher education in the colleges and university in our country. They are not getting a chance to go to school, colleges and universities. 70,000 students are waiting to go abroad after getting their no objection certificate from Ministry of Education. 100,000 students are waiting for abroad. See, this is the scenario. Right? This is the fact. A country like Nepal cannot bear this much pressure. 700,000 students are now at home. 9 million students, school students, this only community. I'm not talking about the private schools here, only community. So this is the reality. Now, again, the questions, another questions, right? So many questions, I'll put this one. Why education? You know, why I put the question? This looks very simple question. Very simple. Why education? Oh, come on, man. This is, so what question this is, okay. But very difficult to answer. Even if you do the survey, even if you do the survey for the high reputed university in the world, because I came to know, they did a survey at the MIT and this Princeton a couple of years back. And more than 70% student, you know what they said? To get a good job, to get a handsome salary. But if we ask our student, they used to say, "Oh, I want to, I want to be more educated so that I can go abroad. I can go to US, Australia, UK, abroad." But that is not possible now. We cannot go now easily to the abroad. So whatever happens, happens for the good that we say in our Hindu methodology. Yes, COVID-19 or Corona, what happens? But happens for our country, something good. Now the young people will not go abroad. The young people will stay here. Young people will do for our country. We'll send the young people to the other country. The talented people, they go abroad. And we expect the development at our country. That is not possible. Right? And that is why education is needed. And if you ask me, what would I say? Like, we have to equip this generation to address the present and the future challenges, global challenges with local problems. We have to equip our new generation or the next generations, right? We have to equip them. We have to empower them. So education has to be there to empower our kids so that they can solve our country problem, so that they can solve our challenges, so that they can address the issue of global challenges. We have to equip them, right? But how? For this, we have to understand the education problems, and we have to, once we understand the problem that we do have right now, then we can say, okay, let's visualize education for tomorrow. And we have the technology. We have the future technology for the future challenge. So these are the scenario. So education is needed not only to get the hands-on salary, not only to get the very fancy job, not only to get the visa for abroad. Education has to be there for our community, for our country. If you do not think, who will think for our country, right? So this is the reason why I have kept this slide here. But the fact is something else. As I've said, education before coronavirus and after coronavirus is not the same. Because we have the two different eras, entirely different eras. And there's no lack of employment in AC. Don't be scared. There will be shortage of skills for the new jobs. There will be many hundreds, thousands of the new jobs. But those jobs need the new skill. And those new skills are to be provided by the new education. That is why I have said in my previous slide, this education before Corona and after Corona will be different. And Alvin Toffler in his book has said, who will be illiterate in 21st century? It's not like who can read and write. Those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So these are the skills that we have to embed it to our student through the educations. Why am I talking more on education today? You might be thinking, oh my God, since the start of his presentation, he's keep on talking about education. You know why? Because people did not talk much about education. You'll find hardly any article at Kantipur and Kathmandu Post or Himalaya Times or Nagrik News, people talking about education. They talk about, oh my God, resorts are closed, factories are closed, laborers are not getting enough money. But no one is talking about the kids at the home. No one is talking about the parents, like how they are managing their kids for the online learning. No one is talking about that. Very few. So that is the reason why I take this platform to talk, and I do understand education is the solution for all problems all the time. And it is not only that, it's a backbone of development. So someone should speak. So that is the reason why I said, okay, after coronavirus or during the coronavirus, the importance of education is very high, but new type of education. So let's share my experience. That is the reason why I'm talking much about education. Yes, as I've said, they're different, and we have the global challenge and the local problems. Education, like we have to have the education to address the global challenges. We should not be selfish. Education should not only confine in our geo boundary, right? Our education should be well equipped to empower our student even to manage the global challenges. There are more global problems than the local problems. I'll talk about that a little later. And our education should teach our student how to work from home, how to learn from home. Maybe there will be no job, there will be only work. So how to prepare our kids for working from home? Working from home is not easy. You have to do two things, work from home and work for home. And managing two things at the same time is not easy. But we have to make our students smart enough to manage both the things at the same time. So this is what is the reality. And while you talk about online, this is not the solution. This is not the solutions. We have to teach them how to learn. We have to teach our students how to adapt in changing environment. And how can you change the role as per their need, right? Today, I'm teacher right now at Kathmandu University. Who knows, maybe tomorrow I'll be working at one of the consultancy as an educational consultant, right? If it is needed, I have to change my role. I cannot say I'm the professor at Kathmandu University. I cannot do that job. No. I have to enhance my adaptability. I have to change my role, right? And what to teach, what students should learn, everything is different. And how to teach is different. Yesterday only, I read one article written by one of the vice chancellors from the UK. He said, the way we used to teach, the way we used to recruit our students, the way we used to do the research, everything is changed. We have to make ourselves ready to adopt those changing paradigm. And this is the fact, and how to teach. And it's a Moore's law of education. There's a Moore's law for this electronic, like in every 24 months, the processing power of this processing unit will be doubled. So education is also same. It just keep on changing. Because challenges keep on changing. Because education is not wanted, as I told, to get us good job. Education should meet or should address the challenges, solve the problem. And problems keep on changing. So education also has to keep on changing. That's the Moore's law of education. Okay, so whom to teach? Now let's look at here. So whom are we teaching right now? I go a little fast here. We are teaching those groups for whom technology is not the technology. They are the digital natives. They all are born before the after the Facebook, after the Google, after the cloud, after the YouTube. And for them, these are not the technologies. It's a part of their life. So when we teach these people, we also have to be changed. They are the 21st century student. And if we teach as a 20th century teacher, there will be 100 years gap. That also has to be managed. And they are not bothered about the content. They need the context. They need the why. Right? If you teach English grammar, like let us say, like if you teach the simple English grammar, parts of speech or the question tag to the student, they will not bother how to do the question tag, how to do the parts of speech, how to do the passive or active voice. They will ask you the question, when that I have to use question tag, when I have to use the active voice, and how I can use the passive voice. They will not learn one of the mechanism. So this is the context-oriented environment. That is the one. That is the reason why it has to be structured for addressing the new challenges, for solving the new problems. Okay, so problems, it's not the problems, the challenges in education in our country. And it is not in our country, even you can see like this type of problems, mostly you'll find in the least developed country. No priority. People, they don't give the priority to the education. They don't talk much about the education. Have you ever heard the political leader has talked or said anything about what type of education will be there after COVID-19? Have you ever heard any education expert talking about how the technology or how the artificial intelligence, how the automation, how the disruptive technology is changing that teaching paradigm? No, because they don't give the priority for them, right? And that is the unfortunate for our country. And there's a knowledge divide. I do not bother about digital divide. Digital divide is nothing, but there's a big knowledge divide. Just to drive for half an hour east of the Kathmandu, you will find the kids at the village, at the school at the village, the way they are learning the contents, and who is teaching them. It's very, very pathetic. It's very panic. Okay, so this is and there's a gap between what we are learning about how people learn and how teaching and learning is now done. There's a gap. And the more gap is high school and university, right? University teacher and high school teacher, they never sit together. They never sit together. Then the high school teacher never think my student will go to the freshman university or the first year at the university, and I have to train my student like what will be the scenario at the university. They never think. They never give such training. University teacher never think the student who are right now at the freshman, who are at the first year, they have come from the closed loop from the school. They never think. So there's a gap. And it is mostly in our country. And we have to have the mechanism to reduce that. And no required skill for AC. No one has ever talked about, no one has ever debated about what type of skills that we do need. If you Google, you'll find MIT, Harvard, Princeton, Georgia, Caltech, everywhere. Not only there, even here in the Seoul National University in Korea, Tokyo University of Agriculture in Tokyo, Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, they have already started, they are already rejuvenating their curriculums, and they are discussing what type of skills that we have to give to our student. But here, no one is talking about that. Okay, so these are the, and also the global education for global challenges. We have never thought of that. These are the problems. But now again, let me change my track so that you should not feel bored. So how does the future look like? I told, like, life after the coronavirus will be different. Challenges will be different. But how does the future look like? If someone asks me, I will say, I do not have the idea. I am not the GDG, right? I do not have the idea. I don't know how the future will look like. But I know only that the future will be different, and we have to be ready for that. We have to empower ourselves. We have to increase our immunity. We have to increase our adaptability for the new future. But what type of future? Still, I do not know. But what we know is, as I have said, a lot of challenges, opportunities are also there. We should not be panicked. We should not be frustrated. We should be very happy. There will be ample opportunities. There will be revolutionize for the reskilling. There will be huge development. Okay, and more globalization. Future will be there. And for them, again, I come back to the education has to be reformed. And second part, please let me take 30 seconds for the second part. Need to deep analysis in students, because they are now at the warrior for the war. War for not for this physical war. War for the challenges. War for the difficulties. War for the problems. So we have to equip our students. So we have to do the analysis on the student, right? Their capacity, their potential, their drawback, what they are supposed to learn, what they are supposed to know. That thing. And second, the universities also capacity. It is not like guaranteed that all the universities are good, right? So university during this AC after Corona, whether they have changed or not, whether the mental systems or the mindset are changed or not, that also has to be analyzed deeply. This is the one I have to say. Yes, and there are so many technologies that will help us. Future technology, artificial intelligence, big data, cloud, there are so many things. And the job and work in AC after Corona, I have seen this World Economic Forum 2016. They have said 65% of children entering the primary school today will ultimately end up working in a completely new job that do not exist. It's very difficult. If your brother or sister, or if a student, if they ask, so what type of job will be there? Will be the speechless. Can I tell, right? But in 2017, the report one of the US government has said, but the step toward preparing individual for the economy in the future, we have to try our best to provide a quality education opportunity for all. There should not be discriminations. Education should be there for all. That is the reason why United Nations has said SDG 4, quality education for all, right? And number of jobs are not going away. As I have said, they are just changing. And let me tell you one data. So there will be more and more AI-related jobs. China, it is estimated by 2030, they will make a $7 trillion through the AI job, and US 3.7 trillion by 2030. Right? And we are very close to China. So now we have to see by 2030, we have only 10 years time. So we have to make ourselves ready, grab the opportunities. If there's $7 trillion for US dollar in our neighboring country, just take the 5%. Right? That is a huge amount for us. So we have to be ready for that. And we have future challenge, of course. Okay, so education with future technologies. I used to tell the education, but now I put education alone cannot do. You have to have the technology as well. We have to love the technology. We have to use the technology. We have to explore the potential of technology and grab the opportunities. That's what we expect. So education tomorrow. So as I have said, SDG goal, we have the 17 SDG goal. And if you ask, I'm very sorry to say, if you ask finally the student of any university in our country, you will not find more than 50% they know about the SDG goal. And I'm not ready to blame them. They are not to be blamed. The teachers, they are to be blamed. It's their responsibility to tell, right? They are the SDG 17 goals. And that has to be, or there are many targets, right? That has to be met by 2030. But we are not discussing about the SDG goal. Very few people, they know about Industrial Revolution 4.0. What's the history behind 4.0? So that has to be included in our education. Learning 1.0, classroom, 2.0, digital, 3.0, artificial intelligence. Now see, it's changing, right? But we are not discussing. We are not preparing our students for that. It's same on us, right? And learning 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, but I have added, because these were there before the COVID-19, but I have said this AI is also not enough. So 3.1, you will not find this 3.1 if you Google it. That's my version, right? So AI in AC, right? So how you can use the potential of technology, especially artificial intelligence, in after coronavirus for the learning. So that learning 3.0. And this is of solutions. Education 4.0, that has to be Industrial 4.0 plus SDG goal plus 3.0, 3.1, and everything has to be multiplied by artificial intelligence. We have the solutions here, right? So this is how we have to move. Okay, so now I'll talk more about economy part also. Okay, I'll go a little fast. So economy with different perspective. I have economy based on Industrial Revolution 4.0 and also paradigm shift from traditional economy to digital economy, and society 5.0, right? Society 5.0 is smart society. So no one talks about society 5.4. So we have to, so there's a huge economy. And this is let's see, more than 26 billion devices will be a part of IoT by 2020. It was estimated a couple of years back. And there will be $300 billion US, right, just for IoT products. And AI will give the $36.8 billion by 2025. And it was before COVID-19, but this data is more now. And it is estimated by 2025, there will be 75 billion devices will be connected into the internet. So each person will have more than 10 devices. So if you have more than 10 devices, means you have the more than 10 opportunities, right? But we have to be prepared ourselves. And knowledge has to be different. So let's look at it now. In 2019, for the first time, the world had more people over the age of 65 than under the age of 5. This quotation I have used during my last presentations to one of the universities in Thailand. They are the MBA IT student. So I asked them, find the solution for this, right? I'm not asking you to find the solution. I'm just telling you, this you have to understand. What will be the scenario? Okay, so media and surveillance also will be different. Like media, like we have the digital natives. And so like as soon as we wake up, like we are connected to the media, right? We have to wait for Kantipur and Kathmandu Post or Himalaya Times who wanted to hours in the morning, right? But as soon as you just wake up, you say, yes, you are connected to this media, right? And you go for more personalized, not a generalized. People, they are not interested into to read all the news. It's a more personalized. So media also in after Corona era will be the change. And zero contact approach. Now high-tech surveillance, like let me take 1 or 2 minutes here. Not only whether if you travel, like if you are just flying somewhere, like they don't bother when you carry a gun or a bomb. They don't bother now. Because if you have the gun, well, you can kill 4 or 5 people, right? But if you have the coronavirus, so the way it's exponentially shoot up, it affected entire communities. So people are now bothered about this high-tech surveillance, right? And they maybe the smartwatch, maybe the mandatory while traveling to read your brain, to check inside the skin, surveillance inside the skin, and to read your brain, right? That will be the scenario of the surveillance. I have told you this before, 20th century teachers educate 21st century students. This is not the painful. This is the painful, right? I feel pain. The teachers are not ready to change themselves, but they have to. Teachers are not only teachers. Teachers now, after Corona, teachers are not teaching the student. Teachers are learning with the student, because the things they have learned before the Corona all says to zero. But the new things, new skills they have to learn. They have to learn. So they are learning with the student. Right. Okay, so this I'll go a little fast. So they are the facilitator. They have to. We have to teach our student how to learn, as I have told before, and lifelong learning, which is also one of the target of SDG 4 of the United Nations target. And we have to put the skills to the student. And what are those skills? Sorry. Creativity, critical thinking, communication, collaborations, okay, curiosity, courage, resilience. So these are the skills that we do need. And at the end of the day, we have to change our mindset. So these are skills we need in Corona. Okay, so why are we not able to convince? Because there is lack of coordination between government, academic institutes, and private sectors. That's why you have been listening the news, you have been reading the newspaper. We talk a very different perspective of online education, right? But it's still not solved. Okay, this is the scenario. We also ignoring the facts, like all our brains and neurons are wired differently. We learn the things differently, in different ways, at different speed. And this thing has to be considered in after Corona era. You cannot teach the same thing to all students, right? This is what we have to understand. And the fact is, comparing to virtual learning without enough preparation is more disaster than COVID-19. Why? COVID-19 is disaster, no doubt, but it may affect one community. But if we teach the wrong thing to the student, and if we do not make them happy, that effects will be for the 2 or 3 generations. That is the reason why, that's why I have told, if we do not have the enough preparation for this virtual learning, that will be more disaster than COVID-19. And this is online learning, is just like asking for the junk food. If you are very hungry, sometimes if you don't get a dal bhat, then you go for the burger, pizza, momo, thukpa, right? But if you keep on eating every day momo, every day pizza, right, what will happen? Online learning is just like a junk food. Okay? It looks very nice when you take once in a week. But if you keep on taking every day pizza, every day burger, every day sandwich, that's not good. Okay? This is what we have to understand. But other side of the coin, we have the ample opportunity. Now we should, as I told you, like we should not be frustrated. There are the ample opportunities. Look at here. We have the 2 earths. One is a visible earth. Second one is unlimited digital earth. We have to hit the unlimited digital earth. where the knowledge resources and there's infinite opportunities, indefinite opportunities. Okay, so this is what we have to do. So we have to understand the challenge in AC, and who will address the challenge? You, young generation. Right? So that is why I always expect my young generation should be more smart than us, should be more knowledgeable than us, should be more trained than us. Why? Because they have the different challenges, they have the different problems. If they are not as good as our capacity, they cannot solve the problem. So they have to be better than us, right? Young generation, how? Education 4.1 and others and future technologies. But you should know how to survive. Survive in the AC after Corona. For that, I have created one equation. Like, look, who will survive? Equation of survivability. Before Corona, you have the experience, right? But only before Corona experience will not help you to survive after Corona. So what is added here? Adaptability with coronavirus. You have to change yourself. You have to increase the level of adaptability, right? That's AC prime, right? So this is needed. So adaptability, if you want to survive, you have to adapt it, right? Don't think about what happened at the PC. Don't say, oh, I used to go there, I used to do this one, I never used to put the mask, even there's a dust in Kathmandu. Don't say that. That has become the history, right? Now, if you need a mask, you have to put it. So this is what is needed. And pandemic reshapes every systems. That's why you have to make the adaptability. And innovation and accepting change are now prerequisites for survival. Innovation, and you have to accept change. Don't be reluctant. Don't be rigid. Like, don't tell, oh my God, I have so much experience before. Don't say that. You know the Darwin's theory, right? So we have to change ourselves. We have to increase the adaptabilities. Like COVID-19, very interesting, right? Because we have done injustice to our nature. We never bother about nature. Right? We only know how to take it from the nature. We talk a lot, right? We talk a lot about, oh my God, see the Bagmati River, see the water is getting polluted. Oh my God, this everyone knows that, right? But what's the solution, right? How to increase the level of oxygen in the water? We always talk about, look at the Himalaya, right? The melting. Everyone knows that. Okay? But we need the solution. We talk a lot, but we don't do. So that's injustice to the nature. That's the reason why the nature is not the vacation. Nature, our mother nature, our nature was waiting for us. We did nothing. So nature decided, okay, you did nothing. So I have to maintain my carbon dioxide, my level. I have to reduce the carbon monoxide. I have to reduce the greenhouse emission. That's what I have to do. I am taking the vacation. So COVID-19 is the vacation for the nature so that they can adjust the level of carbon monoxide. They can reduce the greenhouse emission. Right? This is the COVID-19. So why it's not getting controlled? Vaccine nationalism. Everyone has a desire of countries to go it alone. President Trump said America first always. Look at here. See the Ebola. When Ebola was outbroke, right? Only one person died in America. Only one or two. That time, President Barack Obama didn't say that America first. They had the cooperations with European allies. But now because of this vaccine nationalism, it's not getting control. And nationalism is not to get angry with outsider. It's not. But we believe if you show your more frustration to the neighboring country, if you show the more irritation to the other country, you say, oh my gosh, he's very nationalist. No, that is not the way. We should not stop collaboration with outsider for the common problem. That we have to understand. This is the reason why the vaccine nationalism, lack of collaboration, and it is the global problem. Right? But we are trying to solve it as a local problem. No. Every problem had the philosophy. Every problem had the solution. Right? If we do not understand the problem, we cannot follow the solution. Okay? And we are the same. We are in the same earth, sharing the same sky. And we have the same problem, Corona, at the same time. But how it is possible if we are divided? So we have to be united if we want this problem to be solved. Okay, so it is so how to prepare ourselves for this if it's a pandemic. This is my view. We have this coronavirus is one example, right? I'm very fortunate, because this is a big lesson, big message to every citizens of the entire globe. Right, if you do not pay attention right now, if you are not careful, there will be climate change more disastrous than COVID-19. Right? So how can we make ourselves prepare for this and future pandemic? So there are the three forces. So these forces we call the universal forces, and these forces are to be managed. One is globalization. Globalization is getting more and more interdependent, right? That is the reason why I have told you that Corona is not getting controlled. Technology. Let's not use the only technology for the technology. We have to understand the potential of the technology. Climate change. 2% global GDP is in the climate change, right? I have read some articles which was based upon this climate change summit in Anchorage in Alaska, right? People are very much worried about that. And it is said, if we are not ready to do something to protect our climate, after 40 years, like a huge land, like a big portion of this earth will be merged to the water. So these are the three global forces, and that has to be, that makes a triangle, and this triangle has a lot of issues, and this is the preparing for pandemic. So globalization, technology, and climate change. These are the three universal forces are to be considered if we want ourselves to be ready for the pandemic. Vaccine is a very, very primary things. Medicine is a very, very primary things, but this is the long-lasting solutions. This is for the sustainability. Okay, so I will tell first. I will not take much time here. Climate change, and I just I would like to highlight a wake-up call for climate change. I told you just before now, and climate change. Look at here. Corona just why it is so important for us, because China is first is number one in emitting the carbon dioxide, and India is number 3, and we are in between China and in India, so we have to be careful. Okay, so it is not belief nor religion. Okay, it can be measurable by the technology. Why I'm talking this climate change? Because we have to try our best to use the technology for this climate change. These are the future technology: AI, IoT, big data, computing. And these technologies are not only for computer science, not only for IT, not only for computer engineers, not only for engineers. These technologies are for everyone. Even if you are doing the humanities, even if you are doing the sociology, even if you are doing the anthropologists, even if you are doing the legal studies, everything, everywhere you need the technology. Okay, so this is a climate change. We have to reduce, and you can see the sources of greenhouse emission at the bottom of my slide: electricity, transportation, building, industry, land use. So why I have shared these sources of greenhouse emission? We have to use the technology which can reduce the greenhouse emission in electricity, technology which can manage this greenhouse emission due to the transportations, electric vehicle, other things. That is the reason why I have just shared with you. We have the solution: AI in health center. We can use a drone, monitor this one, and best medical device to identify patients of absence of the virus. I have read one article, a Korean article by the Korean Health Ministry. Very good article. You also can Google and watch. How did we curve? How did we flatten the curve? The title was there, and they used the AI-based machine to identify the coronavirus in South Korea, robot doctor, okay, and the PACS pictures archive computing system. So these are the health sector and the education for the learning management system. As Eva has said that I'm working on that. Yes, I'm working for how the AI can be used for the learning management system. Yes, these are the thing, and this is the solution. But technical skill is not enough now. If you want to survive, social skill also is needed for the lifelong learning. Okay, so conclusion at the end, no country is safe until every country is safe. Right? This is the reality of the coronavirus. The pandemic has made entire globe in one country with a different system with higher interdependencies. One country means what? We all have the same problem, right? If the Italy says, okay, I am safe, no. If the Italy is safe, if the Portugal is not safe, if the Spain is not safe, if the neighboring countries are not safe, Italy is also not safe, right? If we claim that our country, Nepal, is safe, no. If the China is not safe, if the India is not safe, if the Bangladesh is not safe, we also are not safe. Every country should be safe. And we have to understand the nature. Nature is very kind to us, right? Because 5 years back, during the earthquake, nature has given us alarm, wake-up call. Hey, this may happen again. This may happen again. Another pandemic or epidemic may come again. So we have to be ready. And this COVID-19 is another wake-up call for the huge climate disaster. And so does not depend upon our previous experience, and we are in the same boat, right? A hole at one end that what doesn't mean that one occupant sitting at the other side will drown. It's globalization. We all will win or lose together. Right? If we win, everyone, all the 7.5 billion people in the world, in the globe, will win. If we lose, everyone will lose. So future is in our hand, depends upon how do we manage this crisis. So my next slide is a take-home message, right? So I always end my presentation with take-home message. After Corona era is for us, for our country, for least developed country. Now this is the huge opportunity for the country like Nepal to lift up. And we have the potential. We have the 100 billion euros in our brain. We are not inferior than any part of the world or any citizen other part of the world. What do we have to do? Let's use the technology in a proper way, right? And manage the challenges, and let's create the best practices. So we can be a best practices in after Corona. Let's not be frustrated. Let's not be irritated. Let's not be disappointed that we are at lockdown, right? It has a huge opportunities, ample opportunities. Please wake up. You have to wake up, and everything, the future is in your hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Manish sir, for the presentation. It was very detailed and informative. I think we have a lot of things to learn from the presentation. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions. So हाम्रो participants I think mic on गर्न सक्नु हुँदैन, त्यही भएर type गर्नुहुन्छ. So I'll read it out and then sir will answer the questions. अनि हाम्रो फेसबुकमा लाइभ हुनु भएकोहरुले पनि आफ्नो questions comment गरिदिनु भयो भने I can ask him the questions and he can answer them. Hi, so I think there are already 2 questions, so I'm going to read that out. Hello, I'm a grade 12 student. I am waiting for my 12 final exam. I wanted to ask, how can government combine technology and education to ensure that grade 12 exam can be conducted smoothly? In other countries, even exams are being held online, but in Nepal, our exams and future classes are still in hold.
Thank you. Very good question. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate the question. The quality of the questions, it depends, like it shows how quality you are, right? Yes, like our government is still reluctant, right? And unfortunately, like I have to say, we are more bothered in taking the examination rather than teaching, right? We never bother what to teach, how to teach, whether our students are learning or not, whether teachers are teaching in perfect way or not. But only we bother We have to take the exam. We have to take the exam. Right? And there are so many ways. There are so many solutions to use the technology. Right? We can use the remote proctoring. There's one mechanism of taking the exams remotely. Right? And we are doing it because at Kathmandu University School of Management has done this one. Okay, so we have a different mechanisms, different ways, different technologies to take to the exam. And exam is also not a solution, right? Like exam, I do not believe in the 3 hours exam. I do not believe at all. So exam, like if a student like has been working day and night, working very hard throughout the semester, and during the exam in 3 hours, he may have the headache, he may have the fever, and he cannot write anything. You cannot tell that student is not good. This is another part. But as you have said, government has, if government wants to do so, take the exam, they can take. There is no doubt, because technology, there are so many technologies available right now, even in our country, in our country, Nepal. So there is not a big problem. But the only thing is the mindset, whether they are ready to take this or not. Thank you very much.
Sir, so we have another question. A lot of countries, schools and universities are management system, LMS, but in Nepal, I haven't heard about these kind of systems being used. The assignments are still being submitted in paper through email to the teachers. The slides are being shared through emails or pen drive. This has created even more mess after COVID-19. What kind of approaches KU is taking to incorporate LMS?
Thank you very much. And another good question. So I'm very fortunate that I'm having a very good question, series of good questions. Yes, what we are doing at our university, we are now, because as I have said, like when it was, our government had decided to go for the lockdown, our university was also closed at other university. And we sat together virtually and we decided, okay, let's do something so that students should not feel like they are ignored. So we use Zoom and for the time being, but I do not agree like Zoom or the Meet or this, so these are not the permanent solution. So we are working on like personalized learning management system, right? So our Kathmandu University, there's a group and I'm also one of them. So we are working on like managing or preparing our own learning management systems. We are going for the ubiquitous based learning management systems with the cloud and the AI. So we are working on that, and maybe within this 2 or 3 months, we'll come up with some customized learning management system. Thank you very much.
And the third question is, students need their teachers to commit more time to get same level of understanding right now in classes. How do educators and teachers need to adapt now that education is changing? How can technology help in this?
Oh, and a good question. Thank you. Yes, there's a term we call the personalized learning system. Like, as I have also said during my presentation, our brain is wired differently. Like, if I learn something, if I take a huge time to learn something, maybe you may not need the huge time for that, right? Let's take the example. If we are learning simple mathematics, like if I take a lot of time to understand the, let us say, algebra, right? So if algebra, it's taking much time for me, but for geometry, maybe I'm very fast to learn the whole triangle and all the angle, right? But you may take a lot of time to understand the geometry, all the theorem and all those axioms, but you may not take a lot of time to understand this algebra. So our learning, we call the learning analytics also. Our learning analytics, our learning capability or capacity is different, right? So teachers should know. Teacher cannot generalize, right? Teacher cannot generalize. So but it is not, so teachers should know the potential or the learning capacity of all the students. Now the teacher will ask me the question, how it is possible? I have 60 or 100 students at my class. How it is possible to understand everyone learning capability? Yeah, possibly, there's a possible, but not by the human, by the technology. So there are few technologies that will help the teacher, but teachers should be ready to adopt the technology. Teachers should ready to train the role. Teachers should ready to love the technology, to use the potential of technology to read all the brains of all the students. Then he or she can make the judgment how to teach separately. Thank you very much.
So we have one more question. Due to COVID-19, a lot of girls in remote areas have been taken out of schools and their future education is in jeopardy. This is kind of situation before and after COVID. How can government or educational institution handle this situation?
Yeah, that is, I also have heard this news, like, because in the remote area, I also have been in many remote villages in our country. And when I visit the school there, I find like, and I was told like, especially after grade 7 or 6, many girls, the female students, they drop out and because of the family matter, because of the other reason, right? And so the COVID-19, it was before like even era of the BC, like before Corona era, also it was like same problem. But now the family has got like excuses like see, this is a Corona, now you don't go out, right? This is and especially for the females, so they allow the son to go out, but they don't allow their daughter to go out. That has to be changed, and the government should take a very good step or very favorable step or very comfortable step in convincing the parents of the girls not to stop sending their daughter to the school and others, and that has to be. That's why I have told you that in my during presentation also, we have to change our the mindset. We have to change the way we think, and we should not make the discrimination the based of the gender, because based on the caste, based on the region. We should not make that one. And that is possible. The only thing is we have to be ready to change ourselves. Thank you very
much. So I think due to time also, we'll be taking very few questions. If you have any questions, please mention us or put it on the comment section. So we have one more question. How should the education system be redesigned to help the people who have lost jobs due to COVID?
Yes. Like, why they lose the job? The first question, right? We always have to try to identify the root cause. It is not like they lost a job, they were fired from the organization, they stopped going to their office. But what is the reason? The COVID-19, the reason is first is economy. The volume of economic activity has gone down. Why it has gone down? Because we have the hangover of the BC before Corona, right? We still believe, oh my God, this never happened before. Yeah, this never happened before, and this will not happen again in the future also. But future, so what exactly? There are so many good examples, like they make a good business also in this era. So what we have to understand, what is skill that we have to impart to the staff, how to recruit the staff. Like, so the leader is, I'm not talking about the political leader of the organization. The one who runs the organization, who runs the enterprises, he should know what type of skills that they have to give to their staff, their workers, right? So that they can change themselves and do the job for the future. So skill changing, skill revolutionization mechanisms is needed. And I'm definitely sure that if this thing has been taught, no one will lose the job. Yes, the nature of job will be different, but they will not lose the job. Thank you very much.
I think that's all we have in questions for question part. So I think we are towards the end of the session. Thank you so much, Manish sir, for your time and your valuable information you've shared, and teaching us a lot of things today, and making us aware of a lot of things after COVID, and helping us out with realizing what should be done next step, and also about education and how can we contribute. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
So also, if you want to know more about Google Developers Group or WTM, our social media handles is mentioned on the comment section. Please click on it, and then you can like our page or follow us to know about our future programs and other events that we are organizing. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for participating, and also we'll be sending out our feedback form shortly. So yeah, check your emails, and then we'll let us know your feedback so we can organize even better events in the future. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Eva. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Pranita. Thank you, Nasala. Thank you, Puzzle. Thank you everyone. GDG. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Stay safe.
Yes, you too, sir. Stay safe, and take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.